She is here in person, Dr. Bahira Abdulsalam. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
My voice is clear?
Sorry?
Is my voice clear?
Yes, it's great. It's great. I'm going to get you to state your full name and spell it, please, for the record.
My name is Bahira Abdulsalam, Bahira Abdulsalam, S-A-L-A-M.
Great. And do you swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'm going to just give a little bit of a background on you, and if I miss anything, please fill in the gaps and expand on things or correct me. But I understand that you will testify today on gender identity policies in Canadian schools, their impact on parental rights, student safety and privacy, and freedom of expression. You'll describe what you've experienced in terms of retaliation and complaint mechanisms used to silence advocates such as yourself, including attempts to jeopardize your professional standing and what you refer to as charter-consistent reforms for transparent curricula, parental consent, neutral environments, and anti-retaliation protocols, and that you've been involved in relation to those general issues. You've been engaged significantly on really two battlefronts. You're a mother of three kids. You live in Toronto, and you became involved in a battle against the public school system once you began to find out about certain gender ideology-driven programs and materials that were in the public schools. And you're also a licensed professional engineer and a doctorate. Your focus is on civic engineering. And you got involved in helping to organize the 1 Million March for Children back in 2023. And as well, you became active in the political arena. You contested the civic election in 2023, I think it was, for the City of Toronto, the mayoralty election. You've been a candidate both provincially and federally. So you've been very active. And you've encountered turbulence and efforts to impose sanctions against you by your professional governing body as a licensed professional engineer. I think the body in Ontario that governs your profession has instigated proceedings against you, not based on your activities as an engineer, but based on your religious views and your activism on those areas that we're going into. So you've got two battlefronts going, one against the public school and one against your professional governing body. Have I got that right?
Yes. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, well, why don't we start, why don't I let you tell your story, and chances are I'm going to have a bunch of questions as you do that, but tell us how it happened. We understand that you live in Toronto. Tell us how it happened that you got involved in these areas.
So I am personally, and I believe in freedom and democracy, and this is what brought me to Canada as a PhD student at University of Sherbrooke 20 years ago. And I had this Canadian dream of living in a country full of freedom and democracy, and where our children will be raised in a very positive environment. This is actually what brought me here to Canada. And when I started...
Can I just stop you there for a sec? It brought you here to Canada. I think you were born and raised in Cairo, in Egypt, were you?
Yes, I'm Egyptian. I'm born and raised in Cairo, Egypt.
Okay.
And I came here as an international student 20 years ago with a scholarship for PhD at the University of Sherbrooke.
University where?
of Sherbrooke in
Sherbrooke
Quebec.
in Quebec, okay. And you were there for 7 or 8 years, I think, in Quebec?
Yes, I completed my PhD in civil engineering in
Okay.
composite materials, and then I went to United States for 2 years, and I came back here to Canada.
Back to Toronto then at that point. So, okay, take it from there. You came to Canada, you had expectations of freedom and so forth. Take us from there.
So yeah, so I contributed like since the very beginning, since I stepped in Canada, I contributed in every single opportunity in my religious institutions and in the university. I was the vice president of the university union, and I have been very active with the Liberal Party of Canada. I was volunteering with our MP, and I have no idea about the dangers that are exist in Canada because of those policies. So I always had, like many of Muslim Canadians who believe that, okay, we are going to have our freedoms respected and values, and you are free to do whatever you want, right? Because everybody is free. So I started to realize that this is not the case, actually. The case is that there are some rights that are more important, more valuable than other people's rights. I noticed that there are investments in areas that are, there is the balance is there is something wrong with this balance. I started finding like all the invested years in academia that I have done, I haven't been able to contribute to build this country as I hope to be. And my little child, there is an incident that happened in the school system that was the transformation for me from engineering to activism and starting to explore and fix things up. So, and this incident, like it revealed to me that there is not enough care given to the children, and parents' voices are not respected, and their voices are not heard. And yeah.
Let's back up just a bit. I think you have 3 children, one of which is, I think, still in high school in Toronto, right?
Yes.
And so what you're about to tell us about is an incident involving your youngest, which occurred at school, and that first sort of brought you into a realization that to some degree parents were not being kept informed as to what was going on in the schools, and this really surprised you and propelled you into a certain degree of activism. So explain it to us then. What was it that happened to your youngest son, I think, that takes us to this point?
Yeah, my son fell on his head from 3 meters high. He had concussion, and then he developed extensive anxiety.
Right.
He was so scared to go to school, and this made me try to be involved in the school parent council,
right,
and investigate the safety of our schools. Are our children safe at school? And what is that makes my son so scared? And then
okay, I'll stop you there just for a sec. It was an accident at the school itself, and that you as the mom had not been contacted by the school. You found out about it later, and that really bothered you at that point, that they wouldn't have immediately informed you of what happened with your son. Okay.
Yeah, so it was extremely unacceptable, and this is something that
right.
I started to take action against the Toronto District School Board. How come my child fell on his head, had severe concussion, and I'm not informed? And I realized by accident. So this is the incident that made me really be actively involved, to be vocal about the children's rights and about investigating, and I made a lot of research after that. Okay,
so you ended up attending a school and attempting to sort of advocate for your interests and express your concerns. What happened when you actually went to the school?
I went to the school. I became a member of the parent council, and by accident this year there were gun violence that happened in the two schools next to each other, the middle school and the high school, and there was a huge meeting, and this meeting included the police and the Toronto TDSB administration.
When was this? What
this
year?
was in 2022, by the end of 2022. And I noticed that the parents were not invited, and the media was not allowed, recording was not allowed, so it was, for me, it was strange. And the type of conversation was unconvincing to me. I realized that there is a lot of undemocratic, and there is a fear that they are spreading fear, and they are not allowing the parents to speak up, and they are not listening. So I was extremely angry, and I made a very strong speech that I told them, like, we have not left our countries to come here. I left my families, my mother and my people to come here in order for my kid to be raised in a proper way, for my voice to be respected, for our freedoms to be allowed. And there were huge violations to the safety of the schools, disrespect for the incidents that happened to the kids, and this.
Okay,
actually,
you made a speech to who, and when was this?
Yeah, so after the gun violence that happened, there was the police and the management of the TDSB and few parents, but the parent council was not allowed. And I was there, and I spoke on behalf of parents to the lead, and I told them very clearly, look, for you, every one of you, if you disrespect the children, that their rights are violated,
right.
So this is an insult for each and every one of you. So you have to understand that you are here to serve the people, not the other
Right.
way around. So and this is my understanding for democracy.
Sure.
This is my understanding for how it should work. And then I'm living in a Muslim majority neighborhood, and I am I'm very blessed to have education, to have skills to communicate the feelings of myself and the people like me. And then they told me, Bahira, you need to represent us. We want you to speak on our behalf. At this moment, I felt the responsibility that it's an obligation. It's my duty to run into the election and to try to transfer the feeling of the parents. And I told them and I wasn't heard. I sent email that I wasn't no one responded to them. So I told them, look, if you are dealing with someone like me this way, who have language skills, who have communication skills, what about other parents who even cannot communicate in the same language? Okay, because lots of parents cannot speak English, for example, newcomers and immigrants, and how come this is happening? So I was elected after that to represent parents in my neighborhood and to be the representative of Ward 15 in the city of Toronto to speak for the parents.
Okay, I'm going to back you up a little bit so I can kind of get a handle on what actually happened. Is because you had been excluded, you and other parents had been excluded from this discussion about the gun violence and the need for the schools to be safe. You started expressing concerns that they weren't hearing the voices of the parents, who obviously have to have a say in how things are going. But there were other issues that you observed that needed to be addressed, things that were happening in the schools that also got you quite active and outspoken.
Yeah, so I observed, like the idea of respecting my identity is very important. It's not about only me, about the majority of people who live in my neighborhood or I'm representing. So when I step in the school, which is with Muslim majority people, 90% of the school are Muslims, and then we find a huge Canadian flag and a huge LGBTQ flag with the same size. So this is sending a message for each and every little kid. What is this message that it's sending? That this is the identity that is respected and valued. And I spoke to the TDSB president about this. I told her this cannot work this way. Like, how come a little girl, when she comes into the school, why doesn't she find a role model? What is, so I started speaking about those issues when I found that at that time.
Right, and because you had begun some speaking out on those concerns, your community, mostly Islamic in Toronto, sort of got behind you because they shared your concern about what they could see going on in the school, and that then ended up with you getting involved in the organization of the very first Million March. You were part of the Toronto group that was involved in organizing that. Have I jumped ahead too fast here?
Yes, because after this, I decided to run for office as a mayor of the city of Toronto.
Right.
And I completely disconnected from the Liberal Party of Canada.
Right.
Because I realized that this is not the path forward. Those people are not speaking for me. It is completely the opposite. So I was kind of attacked by some figures in the Liberal Party for running for office, and the whole team that I have been helping them turned against me. And I was treated as kind of like, is this woman crazy? How come you, how dare you run for office at a huge city like Toronto? But for me, and I started questioning like professors in political science, because they told me it doesn't work this way, actually. You cannot just go and run in the election. You have to get funding from major investors. And I realized that, no, this is not the type of democracy that we are looking for. I'm looking for to get the votes of the people, not of the funders and the developers and the people who I will serve them. I want to serve the people. So I said, okay, let me try. And I don't believe in failure. Failure is not, it is a word that it doesn't exist. It is a learning experience. Every experience we pass through, we learn a new thing, and then we can build on it. I was very honored. At this election, I was number 14 out of 102 candidates, which is for the first time ever running for office, and without funding. Very few donations I collected. And I was able to prove that it is possible. I met little girls that told me, if you are doing this, so it can be possible for us. They were very inspired. And this is a success, but by its own. And I believe one of the major problems we have in Canada is that we are not represented by people who look like us, who understand our path, who feel our pain. So this is what made me take the step. And during this campaign, I was able to network with people from all over Canada, with politicians, to follow a lot of things. And this is like a part of God's plan, actually, because I have used all those resources to help the movement after. And it started by a protest, a small protest in Mississauga. So there was a leaked video that spread that is speaking about, there were the voice of little Muslim kids speaking to their teacher who decided to discipline them and to shame them for not attending the Pride. And she was telling them, how dare you not to be present in the pride? And then they are telling her, it's our right. This is opposed to our religious views. And she called them disrespectful, shameful, and all kind of bad things. And the kids were very smart. They provided a very strong arguments. I remember one of them, one little kid, he told his teacher, you cannot compare sexuality with religion. This is our religion. So several videos were leaked, and those videos were, I believe, a spark of this movement. In addition, that many mothers, they have been watching and they have been concerned. And there is a small group in Ottawa who started this movement, as a group of mothers, and with Kamel Sheikh. I wasn't connected with them at that time, and they decided to make the 1 million march for children. And at that time, I was tweeting, and I was researching, by the way. I was researching for my own knowledge and information about what is this ideology and what is happening here. So I was tweeting while I am researching, day and night. I was non-stop, to the extent that some people thought that I'm paid. Some people thought that I'm a machine, not a human being. And I had very positive interactions, very positive. People were very happy that someone is expressing their concerns, and they have shared with me. And at this time, I started connecting with priests, with people from Christian community, with people, and they have been so grateful. They told me, Bahira, we are backing you up. We are with you. We thank you for your stance. I connected with Kamel, and I got this idea of the 1 million march for children. And by the way, I am the first one who used this hashtag, 1 million march for children, which it spread. So the reason why this movement actually spread and became so powerful, honestly, one of the reasons is definitely the passion of the people, and that there is a problem. There was a problem, and we connected with people who have been working on that for decades. So this gave us an opportunity to network and to connect with experts and with people who have been very vocal about this for a long time. But I believe what happened in this movement, that people came up together, connected together, and this was very powerful.
So you talked about those leaked videos sparking this movement, and of course the movement was evolving in different places in Canada, and then you found out about the Ottawa group.
Yes.
And you, much to your credit, comes up with the 1 million march hashtag, if I've understood your evidence.
Yeah, so the call was by Kamel Sheikh, and he is a very honorable person, a very proud and happy to be part of the team. And I wrote this hashtag on Twitter, and then it started lots of people started using it. Right.
So you networked both with within the Islamic community in Toronto, but then transcending that into other faith groups,
provinces,
and other
faith groups, and
other secular groups, and a wide array of people of all kinds of backgrounds and interests. In Toronto and then in Ottawa with Kamal, who has testified here in the past, actually, and out west. I know the Sikhs, for instance, are hugely active in the Million March in Vancouver.
In Saskatchewan and Alberta.
Yeah,
and,
so I mean, you've got, and of course, Christian faith and secular folks that have no connection other than concerns that you've described about what was going on in the schools with the promotion of this gender ideology and essentially disenfranchising parents from what should be their authority and their responsibility over these hugely impactful areas with their children. You felt like you were being shoved out of the way for some agenda that's being pushed through the schools. And this was a concern that swept across the country, and you've described the beginnings of this movement called the Million March. So can you tell us what you did to organize that?
Yeah, so I just have one thought that I want to share it before so one thing that the government became aware of what's happening, and then they had a huge investment to oppose this movement.
Right.
So one of the ideas that they were trying to spread is that those are Muslim extremists, and yet it's only a Muslim idea. So I remember very well a lady that made a video. I don't know who this lady is, but her video was boosted. So she was telling everyone, hey, this is a Muslim group organizing this. So she promoted for our movement, and while they were trying to break it and defame it as it is only this group of people, so don't go with them because they are extremists and they are this kind. So this is one thing. My role, to answer your question, was one of the official spokespersons. So we had 4 spokespersons. I was one of them. And my role also was, I actually used all my connections and all my networking skills, which I claim that they are good enough, because this is, I love people, actually. I love connecting with people and communicating with them, and this is something I'm good at. So I tried to find out who can join us and who can, from different provinces. And then I started bringing people to be part of this movement and organizations. So
I think this was the summer of 23 when you began to organize it, and I think the first actual march was the fall of 23?
Yeah, it was September 2023. So we selected a day which was a working day. So this working day, it's a school day. So the reason why I selected the school day, because we wanted we wanted to have a record of absence. Okay, so because they can claim that, yeah, it's just a small protest and no one cared, but there were official absence record. BC alone, there were 100,000 students absent at that day. So I don't think that we have made enough effort after the 1 million march to document and analyze the success of this, but definitely there is still a lot of work to do. And it was very clear that it was all around. People were really passionate about protecting the parental rights and making sure that kids will not be confused about gender and about harmful ideologies, hiding information from their own parents.
Right, and there's been 2 other subsequent marches then, I guess every year now we're having a Million March. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, but the first one, it was huge.
It was what?
Huge. It was huge.
It was huge, okay.
It was huge. After one month, October 7th happened, and this had huge implication on the parental rights movement, because many of the there was like a conflict of we became 2 groups, and this was used to people to go against each other because they have different political stance. And many people who have been standing up for kids, they go and say, okay, they are joining the pro-Palestinian movement. They are defending the people who are killed and massacred and genocide. So it is, and then.
Okay, just before we go further on that, and I understand it, that horrible event drove a wedge within the Million March community, isolating Muslims to some degree. Obviously, the world was in shock and reacting, and it was disruptive of what you all had in common, which was organizing and promoting the Million March. So just before we get to that, though, when you were active in expressing your views about, we call it SOGI in the schools, and organizing the Million March, did you personally pay a price for things that you were saying publicly? Were you targeted with defamatory imputations and allegations of hate speech?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I have a slide here. I don't know if you can show this. So, so like there were lots of articles that were documented, the campaigns that were made against me, defamation, intimidation, threats. I even had death threats, and I reported to the police about some like messages that were very disturbing that I received. And I continued speaking up because I believe that the safety of the children are more important than any intimidation, any defamation that will be placed on me, because I understand that this is the strategy and how it works to silence people.
Right.
And at that time, I was threatened that my engineering, I will be reported to Professional Engineers Ontario, so they will discipline me for speaking up for the children. So I received this message, and then they did what they.
Okay, this is where I'm hoping to go with you now. So we've heard so much about people who have expressed concerns on some of these highly charged, ideologically driven programs like SOGI. We've heard what happens to them when they speak out on these things. And you've described some of that, and we're looking at some media that reflects that to some degree. But when the professional governing body, which is in charge of establishing standards within your profession, licensing, continuing education, and all of the things that are necessary for a self-governing profession to have established, it started picking on you in part because you had been publicly expressing your views about SOGI. So the professional governing body established under a statute in Ontario with all kinds of powers to discipline you turned its guns on you for speaking out against SOGI. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Okay, so I started getting complaints against me submitted to Professional Engineers Ontario, and I'm asked to respond to them. And by the way, I have been very vocal about Palestine and my support to the Palestinian people. And this was also used against me. So there were complaints.
Okay, so can I stop you there just for a second? I'm sorry to keep interrupting, but I want to clarify something. Your support for the Palestine, at no point did you advocate violence or death or genocide or anything of that nature. I understand that you were an advocate for the establishment of the Palestinian state, and that and your criticism of SOGI became the two bases on which your professional governing body started prosecuting you. Is that correct?
Yes. Okay. So my stance is that for the freedom and for the protection of people and for the children in Canada and outside Canada.
Correct.
Okay. So what happens is that those who are attacking you, they start switch your words and say words on your behalf and switch your position. So my advocacy for the children, it became homophobia and hate. And my advocacy for Palestine became anti-Semitism and attack on the Jewish people. But not at any point I am attacking Jewish people. Not at any point I am attacking the LGBTQ community. And I have been very clear that we are against the LGBTQ policies. And I spoke to the people who came from the LGBTQ community, and I told them, And this is what they try to spread. They try to say, those people want to kill you. They came and told me that. They told me that, some people in the counter-protesters, they told me, we were told by people within your group that we want to end the life of your kids. No, I'm sorry, I told them, no, this is crazy. I will defend your little kid before defending my own kid, because we believe in the safety of all children. So our position is very clear. We are with the justice. Why would a little kid pay a price for a political agenda? Okay, and this is what it happens. This is a political agenda. So we want politics outside of our school system. And this is my stance, and this is our stance at hands of our kids. And we are advocating, and it is rooted in love. How can a mother, like mothers care about their kids? So this is the main motivation of the movement for the 1 million march and hands of our kids, and my advocacy for Palestine.
Right. So you've got two battles going on.
And for Sudan, by the way.
Sorry?
And for Sudan.
Oh, my gosh.
So, like, for every, around the world. Like,
right.
I'm not selective. And this is, like, we stand for all the oppressed people around the world and in Canada. This is my stance.
Yes, and for expressing
and
those
by the way, someone asked me, do you support the kids in Israel? I said, yes. I'm against any harm to any kid, no matter what their political stance is, no matter what their parents are, because those are innocent children. So this is very clear.
But because of that, because of your tendency to speak out on these things, which you are obviously very passionate about, and which reflect your very deeply held views and your belief that we have the freedom in Canada to express ourselves on these things, you're not only getting smeared in the public arena, but you're getting targeted by your professional governing body as a professional engineer when it has nothing at all to do with your competence in your profession. Am I right about that?
Well, I'm honestly, I was extremely surprised. And I'm unable, or honestly, I'm unable to comprehend those. So in order to be disciplined, you need to understand what are you disciplined for. So I'm accused, for example, of unethical and unprofessional and immoral stance. So where does morality come from? And where is the reference for morality? Okay, everyone has their own reference. I have my own reference. You have your own reference. The lawyer of the PEO has a different reference. And this have never been communicated with me as an engineer when I was offered the engineering license. They didn't tell me, hey, by the way, this is you have to respect drag queens in public school to be a good engineer. And this is a complaint against me officially, because I said that this is disgusting, and this is encouraging pedophilia, to have a man dressed up in an improper way in front of little kids. So, because I said that this is disgusting, so they're accusing me of insulting the LGBTQ community. So first of all, where is the freedom of expression? And why would a professional body who is concerned about regulating the engineering profession, making sure the buildings are safe, and people are, and the resources are used properly and efficiently, why they don't focus on that instead?
No.
And are they going to go after every engineer, what they hate and what they dislike? Or it is because of my political stance, of my political candidacy as a mayor, as a member of the parliament, as a member of the provincial parliament, and as a parent representative. And this is shows the state of democracy. And I noticed, by the way, a very clear correlation between the dates of my announcing my candidacy and my name being announced on the government website as a candidate for election, and the decisions by the Professional Engineers Ontario to take decisions against me. So for me, there is no doubt that this is a political stance, not a professional stance.
So you're yet another example of what we see happening through professional governing bodies targeting people whose views may be counter-narrative, whether it's Jordan Peterson, Amy Ham, John Carpe, and now yourself getting targeted by your own professional governing body because they disagree with your views. They're trying to silence and punish you through the discipline powers that are supposed to protect the public from incompetent engineers or to establish licensing standards, but they're using those powers to target you for the views that you've expressed.
Okay, so I just to clarify one point. Jordan Peterson, he's a millionaire, as far as I understand.
Well,
I am a single mother.
Of course.
And I am passing through financial hardship. And putting me in this situation without even having the resources of hiring a lawyer, without giving any defense. This is a complete messed up process that it is unacceptable.
Yeah, the point I'm making, it's an abuse of power.
Of course.
Designed to target people who express views that certain authorities dislike. That's the point I'm making.
I completely agree with you. And this is a selective targeting in various professions and setting a precedent so other people in the same profession, they will expect to be treating the same way, and it will even in other professions. And who is supposed to lead this country other than the professionals, the experts, the people of knowledge? So you are now trying to push away all those people and silence them and not allowing them to participate in building the future of this country. This is what is happening.
It's sending a chilling message that if you speak out, we're going to get you too.
Yes.
So you're used as an example of what happens when somebody does speak out and they get punished this way. Okay, I note the time. I'm going to turn it over now to the commissioners who are going to have some questions for you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. I think we all understand that these complaints that you have, these issues you have that are based on rights, are similar in every Western nation at the time. This does not appear to be specific just to Canada, and this degradation is a big problem that we're having. Now, you had mentioned the term rights, and when I hear that term rights, I think of your specific rights and what you'd like to see in rights and what I'd like to see in rights and what people in the LGBT community would like to see in rights. And one of the problems that we're having in Canada is that our country has been founded upon the basis of a Christian society, or at least a Christian-based system with rights that are inalienable to us. And I want to take it back to something you said at the beginning of this testimony. You said, I found that some people's rights are more important than other people's rights. And I'd like to know from your perspective, can you just explain that in detail about whose rights?
Well, I actually see that the LGBTQ community are offered certain rights that, for example, grants and funding and resources that is offered specifically for them. And this is used as a political tool to get more people to join this community, to enjoy those benefits that they are offering. And at the same time, as a tool to silence and to intimidate others by creating laws and legislations that are putting LGBTQ rights over religious rights. For example, when we were speaking in the Leave Kids Alone and the 1 Million March, and I remember very well a petition that was made by priests, and they were very concerned that it will come a day that if they do not do gay marriages, for example, they can be put in prison. So this is the conflict of rights. So they have religious rights of respecting their own religions. We don't believe in this according to our religion. So now you are giving a group of people rights that will put me in prison if I do not conform to this agenda. And this is the same for all religious communities, Christians, Muslims, and faith groups. And this is what I was, and also women's rights. So if a man decides to be a woman, and he is taking my rights in grants, in funding, if I'm a small business, in many resources. So I see that there are two groups are threatened by this. Definitely, first of all, the children and the religious groups and women.
Would you say that rights in some cases are being weaponized against the population?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Thank you.
Hi. I think on the battle about against sexualization of children, Muslims are probably our best allies. And what I see, for example, in Quebec, it seems that maybe Muslims have been used against us, maybe to divide us. For example, there were Muslims praying in front of Notre Dame Basilica in Montreal, and it was considered a bit of an aggression on Quebec population and Catholics. So what are your thoughts about this kind of, it seems, movements to divide the population against Muslims, and those movements we see of immigration too, so it's not clear. It seems that we would be the best allies for protecting our children on LGBTQ matters, but at the same time, it seems that division is pushed to separate us from Muslims. What do you think?
Okay, so I think that this is a very well-known strategy that governments are using to lead, divide to conquer. So they are dividing people into conflicting groups, and then instead of the people united will stand up for their rights, fight for the safety of their children, fight for putting food on the table, fight for the people who are homeless in the streets, they start fighting each other religion and belief and stance. So I think that they have been successful in many cases, right? And what happened, and the beauty of what happened in September 2023, that God's plan, like people, all of them came together. But what is the devil's plan? The devil's plan is to divide people against each other. So if I am like I'm the devil advocate now, I want to make people, Christians and Muslims in Quebec fight each other. What would I do? It only needs two people to call for a prayer in front of the church. And when someone is passing in the street and find people are praying, I'm a Muslim, I will pray. He doesn't understand what is behind that. And then they can get people. Or they can try to manipulate people. And this is what happens when we don't think critically. So my advice to everyone, do not allow yourself just to be led. Even if it is your own prayer. You have to think about your actions. You have to think about the implications of this action. And you need to be very careful, because we are living in a very sensitive time where your own prayer can be weaponized against you and can be used against you to take away your basic religious rights. And this is what happened in Quebec. So the Premier of Quebec, based on those incidents, he decided there will be no prayers at all in Quebec. Even if you are praying in a park, you can be against the government. And this is what we don't want. Why would we be like this is a crackdown on our religious freedoms?
Thank you.
Okay. For those of us who are a little bit rusty in Arabic, can you, and it's totally up to you, tell us what your first name, Bahira, means in Arabic?
Yeah, Bahira is an Arabic name, and its meaning is extremely brilliant.
Extremely brilliant, yes. And I wanted to share that with the world, because you have been Bahira here today with us. We commend you for your courage and your passion on these issues, for speaking out and for being as active as you are. You are an invaluable bridge between communities who share common beliefs on the matters that you've discussed today. So we're immensely grateful for you in that context, and also for attending here today, way out here in beautiful Brandon. You've come here to testify in person, so we're immensely grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be here tonight, and I was just sharing with the president that I started already getting positive results of just announcing that I'll be speaking here. So I have organizations reaching out to me, trying to help me about my problem that I have been trying to reach out to them for 2 years. So thank you.
Well, thanks so much, Bahira. And commissioners, I note the time. It might be a good time for the afternoon break. Great, thank you.